For the social stratification unit, this is entitled Dimensions and Explanations of Stratification. Social stratification is the ranking of people or groups according to their unequal access to scarce resources. All resources are scarce, limited, and some people have a lot more than others. A social class is a segment of society whose members have similar economic circumstances, norms, and status. They have similar amounts of these unequal resources, like money. Think of that as upper class, middle class, and lower class. Income is the amount of money received by an individual or group over a specific period of time. Think of that, your income for a year or for a week, whatever the case may be. Whereas wealth is the total economic resources held by a person. They can include like property, like things you own, like buildings or stock or whatever the case may be. It's all of the stuff you have that is worth money. To get a full and accurate picture of inequality in the United States, you must consider both income and wealth. And by inequality, I mean that wealth is not evenly distributed. The richest 1% possess more than 35% of the total wealth in the United States. In fact, that number is going up. The next 9% own about 39% of the total wealth. So in the United States, the richest 10% possess about 3/4 of all the wealth in the nation, and the bottom 90% share the remaining 26% of the total wealth. Power is the ability to control the behavior of others, even against their will. Power is attached to the social positions we hold. The President of the United States has an incredible amount of power, much more than really anyone else in the country. Wealth certainly helps in the gaining of power, but also does superior knowledge and skills. Prestige is the recognition, respect, and admiration attached to social positions. In our culture, we attach prestige, different levels of prestige, to different jobs. A teacher has one level of prestige, a surgeon has a different level, a custodian has yet a third level of prestige. Let's talk about theories of stratification. We'll start with functionalists. They say that inequality exists because certain jobs are more important than others, and that these jobs require special talent and training. It is necessary to encourage these people to make the sacrifices necessary to fill these jobs. To be a surgeon requires an enormous amount of intellect and physical ability with your hands, and you have to just know a lot of stuff, and not everyone can do it. Not everyone has the emotional skills to be able to operate on people, and the physical skills and the intellectual skills to do that. A limited number of people in this country, in any country, has that ability. And so functionalists explain to us that we have to reward them because it takes a big sacrifice to become that surgeon. It takes 4 years of undergrad and 4 years of medical school and years of residency. We're talking about 10, 12 years beyond high school of education and a huge amount of cost. So they have to be encouraged to want to do that. Conflict theory says stratification occurs because of the struggle for scarce resources. Inequality exists because some people are willing to exploit others. Many very wealthy people have a huge amount of wealth. Go back to the slide earlier where the top 1% control almost 40% of the total wealth. They have more wealth than they'll ever be able to use or spend, and more than their children will be able to use or spend, and their grandchildren and their great-grandchildren will ever be able to use and spend. And yet they want more. And they're willing to exploit others to get it. And think of like things like Facebook, where you are exploited and trying to coax you to use that, and they sell that information. They count your clicks. Along with this is this idea of false consciousness. That's where the working class acceptance of capitalist ideas and values, that as long as you have your direct TV and a flat screen TV to watch it on, you feel like you have wealth, even if you are living in abject poverty and you are being exploited by those around you. Symbolic interactionism says that social class has an impact on self-esteem. Those at the top tend to blame the people at the bottom for their low status. They don't work hard enough, they're too lazy, or whatever the case may be. And those at the bottom tend to blame themselves. No one ever blames the system itself. They blame the people at the bottom. People's self-concepts help preserve the status quo. Status quo means the way things are. So because we believe the system is fair, but we have somehow not worked hard enough, the system perpetuates itself. And you need to put all of these three theories together to get a clear picture of the stratification of society, the separation between rich and poor. And that's your big show for today.